everybody. Thanks for joining me on this video from wherever you are. I invite you to find a comfortable seat. If you have something at home like a folded blanket or a folded towel, that might be helpful. A block or a nice thick book are things that we might use to make ourselves more comfortable. So find a comfortable seat and sit up nice and tall. And just close your eyes and feel your breath for a minute. And take a nice, deeper, slower breath. Just sigh it out. Do that a couple times, allowing it to assist you to settle into this place and time. Settle into yourself on your yoga mat. There's a lot of craziness going on right now in the world with the pandemic and with online teaching and online classes and not being able to connect with people the way we normally do. So that can bring up all sorts of emotions depending on how it's manifesting for you. So today in our practice, I want to remind you that yoga means union. So the goal of yoga is to connect with your true self, the part of yourself that is beyond the emotional ups and downs. But I'd like today to invite you to honor what's going on with your earthly self. We could think of that as the small s self and the capital S self. The capital S self is that part of ourselves where we can sort of observe the ups and downs of emotions without being carried away by them. But that doesn't mean that we ignore them or push them away or think that any emotions or any feelings are wrong or negative or however you want to label them. They're just emotions. So close your eyes again if they've come open and just be aware of how you're feeling about things right now. And just let your mind travel over the last few days and just sort of be aware of any ups and downs you may have experienced, maybe moments of excitement or calm since you're not as busy, or maybe frustration or fear or anxiety, maybe annoyance with people who you're being forced to spend a lot of time with, or maybe you're all alone. So just observe it. I always love to start my classes with the sound vibration of Om. For me, it represents that steadiness and that evenness and that unchanging universal vibration that I'm looking to plug into with my yoga practice. So you can join me with your voice or you can just listen. Just take a nice deep breath in. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4. Take your arms up with that inhale. And as you exhale, bring the hands down to your sides, around behind you a little bit, fingertips on the floor, and then breathe in, lift up the chest, lift up the chin, a little back bend here. And as you breathe out, fold forward, walking the hands forward any amount. Breathe in, sit back up tall. And lean back, switch the cross of your legs, putting the other one in front, and then breathe out, walk the hands forward again, just noticing how different that feels. Breathe in, walk your hands over to the right a little bit, keeping that left hip grounded, rooted down, nice stretch of the low back. As you breathe in, allow the hands to move over to the other side. And as you breathe out, just feel that right hip rooting down. Inhale, sit back up tall, and exhale, take a little twist to the right. Be nice and tall, even as you twist. Inhale, we'll come back through center, and exhale, a little twist to the left. As you inhale, come back to center, let the arms raise up, big stretch, and then breathe out, right hand to the ground, left arm up even further. Breathe in, really root down through that left hip as you lengthen up through the left fingertips, and then breathe out, bend your right elbow a little bit, come over to the side. Inhale, we'll come both arms up, and exhale, left hand down to the ground. As you breathe in, root through that right hip, lift through the right fingertips. And as you breathe out, bending that left elbow, come on over to the side of it. A little side stretch. Inhale, lift up, and exhale, release the hand down. Let's take the feet around to one side and come on over to hands and knees, finding your tabletop position. Here's where you can support your body in any way that works for you, maybe putting that blanket under your knees if that makes you more comfortable. As you inhale, look up, arching the back, tailbone lifts, belly dips down, and as you breathe out, round the back, chin to the chest, tailbone tucking under. Back and forth with the breath. Cow pose and cat pose. As you're moving here, you might constrict the back of your throat a little bit so you hear the breath flowing in and then out. Press hips back to the heels for child's pose. Resting forehead on your folded arms or on the mat or maybe on your book or your block or your blanket. Be comfortable here in a position where you can let go. Nice and close to the earth in child's pose. So feel that, your connection to the earth. And feel your connection to all other beings on this earth. Even though we're far apart from each other, we are all connected as we share this experience. We share this earth. As you inhale, come on back up to hands and knees, tuck your toes under, and exhale, lift the knees and hips, finding downward dog. So bend one knee, pressing through the opposite heel. Keep your navel drawing in, low ribs drawing in. Bend the other knee, press through the other heel. Fingers spread wide, shoulders drawing back away from the ears. And switch back and forth with the bending of the knees a few times, allowing the body to move however it wants to move. Eventually find stillness, heels down, hips high, navel drawing in, lower ribs in, shoulders back, fingers pressing the mat away from you. Press your chest a little bit more toward your thighs, bend your knees. Feel a little openness in the heart there. Shake your head yes, shake your head no. So we're letting the energy move from the tailbone, up the spine, down toward the earth, through the heart space, to the top of the head. As you breathe in, walk your feet forward toward the hands, and breathe out, just fold over the legs, softening the knees. Breathe in, bring your hands to shins, flat back, look up, and breathe out, soften the knees and fold. 2 more times like that. Inhale, we'll bring the arms forward and all the way up, straightening the legs, reaching up, and breathe out, release your hands down over the heart. Let your thumbs touch the chest, and bring the chin down slightly. And close your eyes or soften your gaze, and just be with yourself for a moment. Observe yourself from that higher place. Honoring any emotions that may rise up in you from time to time. Release the hands down. Step one of the legs back to face the side of your mat. Nice wide stance. Okay, so toes are facing forward, maybe even slightly in. You can bring hands to hips, kind of press down on the hips. So you feel this downward energy through the legs, like kind of the gravity holding you safely here. We want to create some upward energy. So draw your legs toward each other, just energetically, so you feel all those muscles in the inside of the legs wake up. Pull the belly up and in a little bit. You can even pull the pelvic floor up and in, that space between the pubic bone and the tailbone. So we have this upward lift. Take the arms up alongside the ears. Soften your knees and exhale, just float down. Let your hands come to the ground. Bend your knees a lot if you need to, or you can grab your block and lift the ground up a little bit. If you don't need that, of course, you can just have your legs straight with your hands on the ground. Relax your head and your neck. walk the hands back more toward your feet if you need a bigger stretch, or even behind your feet, and just allow the head to be heavy here. And then bring your hands back forward about like under your shoulders. Okay, turn your toes out a little bit and just bend into that left knee, letting the body move over toward the left, hips out behind you. Nice stretch of that inner right leg. With an inhale, move through center, and exhale, bend into the right knee, letting the inner left leg stretch, hips out behind you a bit. Inhale, come back to center, and turn the toes again toward the corners of the mat, bend the knees, bring hands to hips, look forward, and come all the way up to standing. Let's turn the right toes out, left toes toward the side of the mat. Bring your arms up to this nice strong T shape, and then bend into that right knee, finding your warrior two. If you don't feel any challenge or any stretch, take your legs a little farther apart. Be sure to keep the knee right over the ankle or behind the ankle, and then just look out over the middle finger of the right hand. You want to be really strong here, so engage the muscles of the arms, the muscles of the legs. You can continue to draw the legs toward each other slightly, creating that extra stability, but also press the knee toward the baby toe side of your foot a little bit, so you feel that nice stretch of the inner thigh. And keep that firm, solid foundation there. Turn your right palm up. As you exhale, let it float up and over, lifting up, reversing your warrior. Inhale back to center. And then exhale, bend that right elbow, place it on your thigh, and take your left arm straight up toward the ceiling. It's a modified side angle pose. If you need more, you can take a wider lunge, a deeper lunge, bringing your hand to the floor or to a block. Or keeping the elbow right on the leg is perfectly fine. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, bring this left hand down to the ground in front of you. Lift that back heel up and lower the knee. And we'll take a little twist here. Okay, so left hand on the ground, right arm reaching up. You can lift your back knee if you want a little more challenge here. Keep drawing the navel in, shoulders back. And then we'll bring that hand back down, lift up your back knee, walk the hands around to the center. And turn the toes out, bend the knees, hands to the hips, look forward, lift all the way up. And we'll turn the left toes out. We'll find those postures on the other side. So bend into your left knee, arms come up to that T shape, nice and strong. Engage those arm muscles so no one can push your arms up or down. Draw the legs toward each other slightly. Draw that lower pelvic floor up and in, lower belly in. And keep that solid foundation. So we want to stay grounded and rooted and safe and secure even as we're moving and being pulled in different directions here. Okay, so left palm up. As you breathe out, let it float up, reversing your warrior. As you inhale, come back to the warrior two, bending the elbow. Take it to the thigh, right arm straight up. Left arm nice and strong. Space between the shoulder and the ear. Breathe in here and breathe out. You can take that deeper lunge and bring the hand to the block or to the floor if you need that bigger stretch. Okay, and then we'll let this right arm come all the way down to the floor. Lift your back heel up and lower that right knee. We'll take right hand to the floor and left arm, reach it up. A little spinal twist here. Pull the belly in, back knee and foot and front foot drawing toward each other. Nice strong foundation. Then we'll bring that hand down and just step the leg back so you find hands and knees again. Okay, so take your right leg, lift it up behind you, and look up. And then exhale, bring this right knee toward your left elbow, rounding the back. Breathe in, reach it up. And breathe out, bring it toward your right elbow. Breathe in, reach it up. Stay there. You can just stay here holding, or take your left hand around behind you, see if you can find your foot. And if you do find the foot, you press foot into hand, look up. A little balancing back bend here. Pressing the foot into the hand. Draw the navel in toward the spine. If you're not doing that, you can just be holding the leg up. It's perfectly fine. And then exhale, we'll release all that. Coming back to hands and knees. Inhale, left foot reaches toward the ceiling. Exhale, bring that knee toward your right elbow, rounding the back. Inhale, reach it out behind you. And exhale out toward your left elbow. Inhale, reach it up. Stay right here, just reaching that foot up toward the ceiling, or reach your right arm back, find the foot. Press foot into hand, gazing up, navel drawing in, balancing back bend here. As you exhale, release that hand down, and we're back to hands and knees. Let's take the right arm up, and as you exhale, thread it through under your left arm, shoulder comes toward the floor. So an awkward spinal twist. Maybe not a challenging posture, but an awkward posture. And we find ourselves in awkward times here. So just breathe with it. As you inhale, bring that right arm out and up. And exhale, place it down on the ground. Left side. Inhale it up. Exhale, thread it through under that right arm. Shoulder comes to the ground. Breathe. On an inhale, take that left arm out and up. And exhale, place it down on the ground. Spread your fingers wide. Tuck the toes, lift your knees and hips. Find your downward dog. On an inhale, take your right leg high toward the sky. Stay right there, or bend the knee, lifting the knee toward the ceiling. And then we'll inhale, straighten that leg back out. And exhale, bring right knee up toward right wrist. Putting it down on the mat. Right toes come across to the left. Tuck your back toes under and bring that back leg back as the pelvis comes closer to the mat for pigeon pose. You can stay here or lower down, folding forward. If this doesn't feel good on your knee, please choose the option to roll over on your back. Right ankle over left knee, reaching behind that left thigh and drawing that in toward the body. Get the same stretch, less intensity, less pressure on the knee. And you can always flex your toes back toward your knee to keep the knee safe. Even out the breath. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4. A lot of emotion is held in our hips, in our pelvic area. So when we stretch the muscles around the hip, it can help to release our tight grasp on our emotions. So we just allow the emotions to flow more freely, up, down, and out, just like clouds across the sky. Emotions come and emotions go. We are not our emotions, but we can observe them and honor them and even celebrate them. We're going to make our way out of this posture. So if you're on your back, you can uncross and make your way back to downward dog. If you were in pigeon pose, you're going to lift up and bring that front leg back and find your way to downward dog. Okay, we'll take the left leg high. Stay right there, or bend the knee, taking knee toward the ceiling, opening up the front of the hip there. And then stretch the leg back out and bring that left knee toward left wrist. Walking the toes over to the right. Inching that back leg back, pelvis coming closer to the mat, or choosing the version on your back if that was better for your body. Lower down or stay with the arms extended if you're facing down toward the mat. And just breathe. Close your eyes. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4. Make our way out of this posture. So hands under shoulders, lift up, front knee back, or if you're on your back, just uncross the legs. Take a minute to windshield wiper the legs back and forth, or shift forward and back, or maybe a little downward dog to a plank. Whatever your body wants to do to release the intensity of that hip stretch. And then we'll all find our way to the back, laying down on the back. We're going to turn the body upside down here. So option 1, just lift your feet up. Option 2, grab your block or your folded blanket or your towel or your book, whatever you might have. Slide that under the hips. Make sure it's nice and level. And lift the feet up there. And once you find your position, kind of tuck the shoulders underneath you, turn your palms up. Let the arms be a little bit away from the body. And just breathe. Using the physical inversion of the body to bring the energy from the base of the spine up more to the heart space, to the throat, and the head. If you're feeling really strong emotions these days, it can be helpful to release them by communicating them. That might mean sharing them verbally with someone, or maybe it means journaling. Expressing. Expressing so that you aren't stuck. And we'll bring the feet back down to the ground. Lift the hips, remove what you have underneath you. And then hug the knees in toward the chest and rock back and forth. Massaging out the low back. You can rock up and down the spine a couple times. And then allow your knees to separate a bit. Reach between elbows inside your knees, reach for your ankles or your feet. And draw the legs, the knees down toward the mat beside you. And you can just have your feet pointing straight up toward the ceiling as if you're standing on the ceiling or squatting down, upside down. And then just close your eyes and be free here. This is happy baby pose, and it's a little bit of a hip stretch. So make it yours. You could bring feet together. You can straighten out both legs or straighten out one leg at a time. You could rock, or you can just stay where you are. Just noticing how it feels on the hips to stretch them in different ways. If there's any other movement that you would like to do, feel free to do it now. Otherwise, just find your way to a nice, comfortable position on the back, reaching the feet toward the corners of the mat. You might choose to put that blanket or pillow underneath your thighs and your knees to take pressure off the low back. Let there be a little space between the legs and space between the arms and the body. Palms turned up, tucking shoulder blades together underneath you. If that isn't comfortable, please choose your position that is comfortable so that you can really let go just for a minute. Just for a few minutes. You don't have to be looking at the screen. If you've been looking at screens a lot, something that feels kind of good is to bring the hands together, rub them together, and get a lot of heat going there between the hands. And I just put a little bit of this healing energy into the eyes. So cup your hands over your eyes. Just allow that heat to soothe the eyes that have been looking at screens much more than they normally do. Leave the hands there or release them down beside the body. We'll spend about 2 more minutes here. So scan the body from the toes, relaxing each bit as you pass by at ankles, knees, thighs, hips. lower back, upper back, belly, chest, fingers, hands, wrists, elbows, shoulders, neck, head, eyes. Relax the muscles around your eyes and your jaw. And just allow your brain to relax for a minute. Please know that you can take a break like this anytime. Just lay down on your back in a comfortable position and rest. Unplug. I invite you to stay here as long as you like. I'm just going to finish off and say goodbye to you from this position so that you can stay until you are ready to come back to face whatever you're facing today. Thank you so much for practicing with me. The light in me sees and honors the light in you, even though we're not physically together. Namaste.